Welcome back to another episode of Full Tuck the Wingspan podcast with me, Aidan.
And me, Adam.
So, another week of Wingspan. What have you been up to, Adam? Any games?
No games this week. I've been really busy at work this week. I know it's been a dry week, but I've been learning a lot about the online game of Wingspan this week.
Excellent.
Which I think we should talk about a bit later.
Yeah, definitely.
But I know you've had a busy week with respect to Wingspan that you want to talk about.
I've played enough for the both of us.
Have you?
Yeah. It's been great, actually. I played with a few different people as well. So I played with my partner, Ellie. I played with your partner, Harriet, while you were at work over the weekend. That was good fun. And had some really interesting games, actually.
All two-player games, yeah?
So, yeah, I've had all two-player games. Had a few kind of ongoing games on the app that I constantly have with
Paul and Kev.
Paul and Kevin, which is still ongoing. And a bit with Luke as well, but he's a bit slow to take his turn, to be honest.
Is he?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've been good? How have the games been?
Yeah, so really interesting. They've thrown up a few themes that we've already discussed in episodes, actually. So had one game with Harriet where I had a predator power strong game. I effectively, I had the...
you went against your word.
So. I know, exactly. And I found myself during the game, I was like, well, turns out they are good. I had the predator power bonus card to start with, and a couple of predator powers in hand, including the white-bellied sea eagle, so... got that down,
remind me what the white-bellied sea eagle does.
So that's one where you reset the bird feeder and you gain a fish or rat if there is one, and cache it.
But you can do it up to 3 times.
No, single time. So you just reset the bird feeder once, all 5 die, and then if one of them is a fish or a rat, then it goes on it. Which happens 9 times out of 10.
7-point bird, isn't it?
Yeah. So and then I picked up the carrion crow. Which was, obviously caching. Is it a teal round end power caching rat on this card for each predator power that you've got? Or
I actually wanted to maybe talk about the carrion crow because on the theme of our top 5 birds.
Oh, really?
Week,
nice.
I was thinking that would probably be in my top 5 left field birds, I reckon. Not your classics, not your Chihuahuan ravens, not your killdeers, not your main ducks, but your left field ones. Yeah. I think for me that's probably in my top 5.
It's one of those that I think is not always good, is it? So some games you can play it and you're like, there's just no.
I don't know. I see. If you've got 3 players and you get it out in round 1, that bird is always going to be worth 9 points by the end.
Do you think?
I think one person will always have 2 predator powers on their board. And if you can get that 4 times out, I think, guaranteed. And plus, it encourages you to get them out as well.
I think that's the key thing, is it? Because there's some of these birds where the powers refer to what other players have done, and not yourself. Yeah. And the beauty of this one is that you can control it. If the other players aren't playing predator powers, you just like, well, I'll do it myself then.
I'll do it myself. and go against your word.
So I had a great predator power game, which felt really synergous, and really encouraged me to play predator power birds that I might not otherwise, because it felt really powerful and synergist to do. So for example, I played a round 4 black-shouldered kite in the grassland. So this is a 3-point bird, a brown when activated power, reset the bird feeder, gain a rat if there is one, and you can give this to another player to lay 3 eggs on this card.
I do like that card.
It's cool, isn't it? Yeah. And even though I only got an opportunity to play it as in use its power once, which feels quite weak for a round 4 go, it worked, firstly, which was a big win. So there's 3 points from that egg, or those eggs. Plus it was an eggs activation, so there's points. Plus it got me an extra point for the carrion crow caching a rat. Plus it got me an extra point for my bonus card, and it counted towards the end of round goal. So it was a really interesting use of that.
I will stop going on about top 5 left field birds. Okay, I promise.
We'll just bring it all of you.
I think we should do maybe a whole podcast on this. Maybe next time, or a few times.
That sounds great.
We should do a left field birds podcast.
That sounds cool. I like that.
Paul, our ubiquitous commenter. We absolutely love it, Paul. Thank you everyone for writing in, actually. This week we've had a lot of people write in, so I'll talk about that in a bit. Paul has off the cuff just mentioned his top 5 not your usual obvious birds, and black-shouldered kite is number 2 for him.
There you go.
Yeah, I wonder if we should talk about our...
It's interesting because he's played it a lot recently.
Be the rogue top 5,
games, so I can see that.
Interesting.
He's not lying. Yeah. He does like it.
And I know Has took a leaf out of your book in one of the games this weekend as well.
She did.
Went for a good old tucking chain. She went full tuck, actually, didn't she?
She went full tuck. So for the listener who may not have discovered, we're branching into socials, and we now have an Instagram page.
Yeah.
And Harriet has kindly taken on the role of our social media manager.
And a Facebook page.
And a Facebook page. And so if you're interested to see the tuck chain that Harriet came up with on the weekend, then go there and have a look.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive pretty impressive chain. But that was a really interesting game for another reason, actually. So again, something you'll notice in that chain is there's the greater flamingo, which is the app,
by the way, is just Full Tuck Podcast.
Yeah, we should have mentioned
Full Tuck Podcast everywhere.
The socials.
Like us, comment, leave a review. It helps other people find us. So
absolutely, please do.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, mate.
No, not at all. So the Great Flamingo, which has a power of look at the number of cubes in another player's wetlands.
I love that bird.
And tuck as many cards as there are cubes in another player's wetlands under this bird and draw that many cards. So you're not losing any cards, you're recycling cards.
You're net zero on cards in your hand.
It's fantastic.
It's probably the only tucking card in the... Well, it's not actually. There's all the tuck to draw ones, aren't there? But it's the only upgraded version, isn't it? Where you recycle your hand and you're net zero.
And you can almost guarantee that someone's going to have a cube on their wetlands at some point during the round.
Yeah.
And usually more than one.
It nullifies. So has had that.
Yeah.
Which means you probably weren't able to do your.
Well, I avoided it.
Yeah.
So
your modus operandi, which is
yeah.
build the water chain.
So this is separate to the Predator Power game. It's another game, but this was a game where I can't for the life of me remember what bird it was, but I played a wetlands early bird. It might have been a tuck and lay bird, and I was like, right, leading into a tuck chain. You know, as you say, the usual strategy, and then she played that, and I was like, I can't do this. I need to find another way.
But so
because she
changed.
It would just imagine if I was getting 4 or 5 cubes each round down on the wetlands chain. And she had, because she didn't just have the Great Flamingo. And again, if you go on the socials, you'll see what she had. But she had a fantastic chain.
Yeah,
she would be getting an unbelievable number of points.
Yeah,
and so it's the first time I think I've done that where someone else has played the Great Flamingo and I've said I'm going to completely change my strategy.
You know what that's made me think about? So I've seen a game style this week where you play a 4-player game,
right?
But you play in 2 teams of 2, and you sit opposite your teammates.
Yeah.
And the game works in that you're 2 teams and you're trying to score the highest number of points combined.
Yeah.
So let's say you and me are a team, and then, I don't know, Paul and Kev are a team. Yeah. And so we're sitting opposite, so it would go me, then Paul, then you, then Kev. Yes, so you're taking alternating turns, but you're all playing in the same game. That would be a really good use to make your team score higher, wouldn't they? If one of you had the Greater Flamingo and the other person just built a tucking chain or a wetlands
and you think
chain.
Any of those powers which are like choose one other player and you both gain this, or you give it suddenly those powers are enormously strong. That'd be a really cool way of playing the game.
It makes Wingspan a cooperative game, doesn't it?
Yeah, which it just isn't, normally. So
it's a very insular game, isn't it? Actually, thinking about it, it's just do your own board. I think that's one of the reasons that we quite like it. There isn't that. There isn't that take that, is there?
I think that's probably a reason why lots of people like it. Is that you know, no matter how new or experienced you are at the game, and no matter how new or experienced other people around the board are, you're still going to have a good time, and you can still almost have a marker of how well you've done compared to how you normally do, because you essentially just do your own thing. To a degree, there is a lot of interaction. I think particularly with the expansions coming in, there's brought in a lot of player interaction.
And the fan packs. I mean, I've seen a few more teased.
Oh yeah.
And some of them are very, very interactive. A couple of them are
brilliant. I'm so
really
excited. I can't contain myself.
Have you ordered some?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because there was a scare last week, wasn't there, when it looked like for the international listener, for a few hours it looked like the UK store had sold out of all of the packs apart from the UK. No, sorry, the other way around.
The opposite. They sold out the British Birds pack.
Also, someone said as well, for Canada, they also sold out the Canada packs first.
Really?
So
okay.
there's a bit of patriotism kicking around, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. First thing you're going to go to.
I've bought all 6.
Yeah, me too. I do you know, I wasn't going to. I've harped on in the last few episodes about being mature and drip feeding them in and taking them bit by bit. And as soon as I got them on there and realised they had a launch sale as well, Stonemaier, so reduced price for however long, maybe it's permanent and it's all a ruse, but it suckered me into buying all of them. So yeah, they're on their way.
Mine are coming tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
I'm out unboxing tomorrow evening, I reckon.
Have you got a game in tomorrow evening then? Is that the plan?
No, I'm looking after your cat tomorrow
evening.
You are. Me and the cat can.
Excellent. So yeah, cool. But I mean, a really enjoyable last couple of weeks. Oh, and then I won't go on about this too long because we're going on.
You're not going to talk about your top 5 left field birds, are you?
No, we're saving that.
Okay.
But I had a game with Paul online where the pileated woodpecker made a starring appearance.
And did it do well?
Was I say man of the match? It was. Yeah, it was.
I've got to assume Paul was using it.
No, I was using it.
Oh, really?
So I was using the pileated.
Was it Kev or Paul? So you said
Paul.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, no. Kev's the one who I can't beat. But Paul. I've got a 3-player game ongoing with Kev and Paul at the moment, which is about maybe it's round 3, something like that. And I'm quietly optimistic. I'm going to be made to eat those words, aren't I, when I lose? But
you will be.
I'm quietly optimistic.
I'm expecting the emails to flood in from those two.
And Kev will not hold back.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, brilliant appearance in the pileated woodpecker. And so there were a few eggs in certain types of nests, end of round goals.
Okay.
In this game. And I got out a couple of star nest birds early on, and then was laying on them with the pileated woodpecker, and it just fed it really nicely. I thought, that's a nice way of using it, isn't it?
Where would you rank that star power, the star nest power, in terms of how much better it makes a bird?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good question. Let me give you a question. So if a bird is worth 3 points with a bowl nest, 5 points with a bowl nest. How many? If let's say you turn it into a star nest, and I know that wouldn't make sense with respect to the actual real life.
No,
nest,
I know, but
I'm just trying to say, how many points do you think that should knock off the bird's feather points? Ooh. So what should a 5-point bird become if you change it to a star nest?
How many points is a star nest worth? Yeah. Essentially.
I mean, it's got to be 2 or 3 for me. I.e., that bird becomes 2 points or 3 points. I think I probably 2 or 3 is probably around the right mark. That flexibility is. It's probably become a bit less as the game's gone on, because more of the expansions have looked at other things, beaks facing the other way, wingspans.
Yes.
Whereas the original end of round goals, bonus cards were very heavily on the eggs. On the egg.
Bonus cards and end of round goals were almost entirely egg focused from the start, and they very much migrated away from that. So as more expansions come out, they've
nice.
That's good. Come on, and they're kind of diluting those eggy end of round goals. But a game where there's lots of them, they're strong. They're strong. Something like Bell's Vireo is just like peachy. Those top 5 left field birds. No, Bell's Vireo doesn't make it in my top 5. It doesn't make it in my top 5. I don't think it's left field at all. Anyway, we're doing a lot of
quite a bit there,
we have, yeah.
So, we've had a lot of questions this week, and I think we're probably going to answer a lot of them towards the end, specifically about where we play, what we play on, in terms of online and stuff. So I think we're going to answer them later on, because I think there's a whole sort of section there, as I learn how much of a presence Wingspan has online. That's been my learning this week, but we'll talk about that later on. But we can't neglect this opening hand for much longer, can we?
So for the newcomer, the opening hand review is a recurring feature we have every week, where we get dealt a random opening hand as if you were playing a game of Wingspan. You get a random kind of determination of the number of players in the game, whether you're starting first, second, third, fourth, etc. Some bonus cards, end of round goals, and a face-up tray, and we give you a week to have a think about what you might do with this hand, how you might play this game, and write in and let us know. And then we'll give you our thoughts and digest some of your thoughts and come to a conclusion about where we're at.
Yeah, because it gives us good insight to how we play the game differently. Yeah.
And what everyone else might do. I mean, we play a lot of our games with each other, and we have historically. So it'd be nice to see how other people view the game. That's the idea.
Indeed.
We before we kick this episode off, we both, pulled up the opening hand to remind ourselves of what we're dealing this week and what our kind of thought out strategies were. And we both said, like, this is so good.
It's nearly my dream opening hand.
It's just...
Yeah.
Oh, and do you know what? I mean, we'll get into it, but I do hope we've got a slightly different strategy, because that would be more interesting for a discussion. But
yeah,
and I don't think there's a no-brainer strategy, because I think there's multiple things you can do.
And I think that's what the comments have suggested thus
far
as well.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Should we take a quick break?
Yeah, no, that's a good shout.
And then we can get into it. We can get into it whilst we have a look at these again. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back to Full Tuck, the Wingspan podcast. And we're going to go straight into this episode 9 opening hand. Best one yet, isn't it?
I think so.
3-player game. We are going first. The first bird in your opening hand is the black redstart. This lives in the grasslands. It eats a witchetty grub and a wheat and a cherry. 0 points. Round end power. Choose a habitat with no eggs. Lay 1 egg on each bird in that habitat. Second bird, Australian Owlet-Nightjar, lives anywhere. Eats a witchetty grub or a rat. 2 points. Pink once between turns. When another player takes the gain food action, gain 1 witchetty grub from the bird feeder if there is one at the end of their turn. Bird number 3 is the Yellowhammer. It lives in the forest or the grasslands. It's 2 wheats. It's a round end blue power. If you use all 4 types of action this round, play another bird, pay its normal food and egg cost. Round 4, bird 4, Pheasant Coucal. It only lives in the grasslands. It costs a witchetty grub and a rat. It's worth 1 point and it's a pink once between turns power. When another player takes the lay eggs action, lay 1 egg on this bird. And lastly, it's the green Pygmy-Goose. Only lives in the wetlands. It costs 2 wheats. It's worth 4 points, and it's your only brown power. Brown power, when activated, draw 2 cards from the deck, keep 1 and give 1 to another player.
And then we've got some bonus cards. So we've got the Wetland Scientist, which is birds that can only live in the wetlands. 3 to 4 birds gets you 3 points, and 5 birds gets you 7 points. And the Rodentologist. It's becoming a bit of a frequent flyer, the Rodentologist.
It is actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Birds that eat rats, 2 points per bird.
Oh, yeah, and then in the tray, there's the wood stork, which can only live in the wetlands. It costs a fish, a rat, and an anything. When played, draw 2 new bonus cards and keep 1. Second, Maltoni's Warbler only lives in the grasslands, costs a witchetty and a cherry. It's worth 3 points. It's a blue round end power. If you used all 4 types of actions this round, play another bird, pay its normal food cost. And then lastly, the Silver Eye, which can live anywhere. It costs a witchetty grub and a nectar. 4 points. When activated, all players gain 1 nectar from the supply.
And then we've got some end of round goals. So round 1 is birds in your forest. Round 2 is cards in your hand. Round 3 is bowl nest birds with eggs on them. And round 4 is filled columns.
Yeah, and remember guys, there's always links in the show notes at the bottom to look at photos of that, or of your opening hands, because I find it much easier than listening to the birds. I really associate how the bird looks with its power. Thoughts?
So yeah, I mean, we've said enough how good this is.
Yeah. Let's stop beating around the bush.
Right, let's get straight into it. I'm keeping 4.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the black redstart, the Australian Owlet-Nightjar, the Yellowhammer, and the green Pygmy-Goose.
Okay.
And the one that I'm not keeping is the Pheasant Coucal,
which is when another player lays eggs, you lay 1 egg on this bird.
Now, I think it's a really powerful bird. It's the only bird, it's the only pink laying power that doesn't rely on you having another bird out with a particular type of nest.
Yeah.
Because it can lay on itself, and that makes it very strong. I imagine that's why it's only 1 point, because it's quite strong and it gets you off to a flyer. However, 3-point game.
You're off to a flyer anyway.
You're off to a flyer anyway. It's a three-player game, and there's no guarantee you're going to have lots of lays from other players. They might find ways to lay eggs in other habitats.
Yeah, pink powers aren't that strong in a 3-player game, are they?
No, and they can be hit and miss. However, speaking of pink powers, the Australian Owlet-Nightjar, which is a pink power that you gain a witchetty grub from the bird feeder when another player takes the gain food action. That to me is, as we talked about this last week, didn't we? The thing that is really hard, I think, to get around is drawing food. You need to take the gain food action, and other players in a 3-player game will do that enough, and that will activate that enough that I think it's definitely worth playing.
You're keeping those 4, you're bidding off the poor old Coucal. Don't you worry, Coucal, you're coming home with me.
No, really? There you go.
Yeah, don't worry.
And then I'm keeping the Rodentologist because, which again goes against the Coucal, but it's strong, and plus you're already getting
2 very strong bonus cards. I think from JK49 of fans database, they're 2 of the strongest.
Yeah,
from my memory.
Not surprised.
They're like the top 5, both of them.
I think the only reason I'm not going for the Wetland Scientist is I sometimes feel a bit hamstrung with that card, because then I feel like if I get a really good card that I want to put in the wetlands but can live in other habitats, then I feel torn.
I would keep it if the other bonus card wasn't as good, or if I had 2 birds in my opening hand that would only live in the wetlands. Yeah, I agreed. Okay, so. But you're going first, Aidan, so what are you going to do with your first go?
My first go, so yeah, this is the bit that probably was giving me the biggest headache, because
this is the spicy bit, isn't it?
The wood stork is there in the tray.
The wood stork is there.
And it's got a rat in its food cost, and it's a 6-point bird, and it allows you to draw bonus cards. And as we discussed last week, we are trying to play bonus cards earlier in the game as our new learnings, and I would be extremely tempted to do that.
Yeah.
However...
Oh my God, the twists and turns, Aidan.
However, your challenge here, and suddenly your challenge for the whole game is you're going to play the Yellowhammer, and you're going to need to make the most of every activation of habitat that you've got, because you need to make them as powerful as possible. Drawing a single card with one of those plays is, I do not think, worth it.
Yep.
And so what my first play is going to be is play the Australian Owlet-Nightjar in the forest. I'm going to keep, the food I'm going to keep is going to be a wheat. And I'm going to, so wheat and a nectar, I'm going to play the Australian Owlet-Nightjar in the forest with a nectar. And then I'm going to hope that it gets activated in round 1.
You're going first. It'd be very rare with a nice tray like that. I'm playing devil's advocate. No, yeah. I'm not. I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Oh, no, sorry. See what you mean. It probably will get activated in round 1.
But round 2, it will get activated.
But then my second play would be to draw food.
Yeah.
And then it would get. And then I hopefully have enough food.
Let's just say there's 5 nectars in the birdfeeder.
Yeah.
To get what next? And then basically you're just trying to get. You've then got 4 birds that you're trying to get out, aren't you?
4 birds that you're trying to get out.
And then, so what are you using the Yellowhammer for at the end of the round?
So that's the ideally, in an ideal world,
you'd
and I
pick up
haven't
a
really
good bird.
counted out whether I'd have enough food for that. In an ideal world, I'd be playing 5 birds in this first round. And the 4 that I've got in my hand, and the 5th one is one that I'm going to draw with my Wetlands activation for round 1.
Yeah.
Which is either going to be one of the 2 that I pick up, or it's going to be one that I pick up with the green Pygmy-Goose.
Yeah.
Now, I'd be tempted if the silver eye is still in the tray at that point to pick it up.
Interesting.
Because,
all players gain a nectar.
I just think you in a game where you've got something like the Yellowhammer,
yes,
you need stuff, and stuff is valuable. And almost more valuable to you than to other players.
Disagree.
Do you think? Okay. I don't know. I think
listeners can go back to episode 4 or whatever that was, where we spoke about friendly birds.
Yeah, we did. Turns out Adam's learned nothing.
I do completely agree, though, with respect to the Yellowhammer, i.e. if you used all 4 types of actions this round, play another bird. You need a bird in the trees that is going to get you extra food. You can't just be relying on however far along the columns you are. You need a silver eye or equivalent to be getting you food, although they are quite frequent in the game. So interesting. Or that's not what I would do. Because you've picked up the silver eye and you've picked up the green Pygmy-Goose. So I am, as your opponent, very much enjoying the game that you're giving me nectars and free cards.
Yeah, although I think
I'd say my salty opinion.
The caveat to that, the green Pygmy-Goose is you draw 2 cards from the deck and you choose which one you give to an opponent.
Just give me a rubbish one, yeah.
And occasionally you might pick up 2 really good cards and you might feel really gutted about giving a really nice card to another player.
Yeah.
But then you've also got to think about bribery. If other players have got cards out where they're giving stuff to another player, you can bribe them with a card. You've got to think about this stuff. I've
never thought about Wingspan in terms of bribery, but actually come to think about it, you do that quite a bit. Thinking about it in games, you're like, well, I'll give you a nectar, or I gave you an nectar.
You've got to have a look at what other players.
I gave you an egg last time.
100%. Someone else has got a.
You're saying that if someone has gives something to another player, that makes you more likely to play another one which says give it to another player, and you effectively join partnership with them.
Absolutely.
Wow, that is. I have never thought about that in Wingspan.
Sorry, anyway, I've interrupted. Go on. What would you do? What's your?
Blown my mind. There's a whole aspect I've never thought. So you have got an opening tray of the Woodstalk, Moltoni's Warbler, and the Silver Eye, and you just said nope, not interested. Yeah. Mad. That just goes to show how good the opening hand is, doesn't it?
I know.
I'm also keeping 4, but I've got no need for the green Pygmy-Goose that you've got. So I'm keeping the black Redstart, which is choose a habitat with no eggs, lay 1 egg on each bird, and that habitat is a blue power. Keeping the Owlet-Nightjar, we've already spoken about, pink power, which gains you witch teas when other people gain witch teas. I'm keeping the Yellowhammer, which is if you used all 4 types of action, play another bird, and I'm keeping the Pheasant Coucal. And the reason I'm keeping if the Coucal didn't eat a rat, I wouldn't keep it.
Okay.
But it's only because it eats a rat and therefore fits with the Rodentologist. Then in my opening hand, I've already got 2 birds that fit the Rodentologist. I've got off to a reasonable start. So I'm keeping a wheat and a nectar, which leaves me a little bit stuck. So first go, I'm getting the Yellowhammer out in the trees. I'm then going to pick up some food. Second go, play the Australian Owlet-Nightjar in the wetlands, because it's the only bird I've got that lives in the wetlands. Then, it obviously depends on the pink powers. But my first go, I completely lied there. My first go, I'm picking up Multoney's Warbler. What am I talking about? That's the first go.
Okay.
I normally think it's a bad idea to double up on if you used all 4 types of actions. But I think in this game you'd get away with it.
And why is that? Why in this game particularly?
Because you are going to... Let me finish it. Let me finish what I'm going to say, because my opening round is all planned out. But then I'll say in this game why I think it'll work. So first go, pick up Multoney's Warbler. Second go, then I'll play the Yellowhammer. Then play the Australian Owlet-Nightjar when I can. Okay. Then third priority would get the Pheasant Coucal out. All right. So then I filled my first column. I've got the Yellowhammer in the trees. I've got the Pheasant Coucal in the grasslands, and I've got the Australian Owlet-Nightjar in the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
In the remaining goes that I have, I just need to make sure I have enough food. But all I need is 2 eggs, I think. It's 2 eggs. So I would just need to activate eggs once, which I would do anyway, because I need to get the Yellowhammer. And I just need to have enough food, which would be my challenge here. Then, at the end of the round, I'd use my Yellowhammer, which is if you used all 4 types of actions this round, play another bird. I'd use it to play Multoney's Warbler. Multoney's Warbler is exactly the same. Yeah. It would also get activated. It would allow me to play the black Redstart, which is choose a habitat with no eggs, lay 1 egg on each bird in this habitat. And I don't know if you basically, for those who are probably watching, there are 3 birds that can only live in the grasslands now. And so that will be the row that I'll then activate the black Redstart with. So by the end of that round, I'll have 3 eggs. I'll have got 3 eggs from that black Redstart.
Okay. I don't think you'll have enough food for that.
I think I will. Because, and the reason I will is because of the Nightjar. The Nightjar will get 2 witch grubs out of it that round, I think. So
I still don't think you. So what you're after there is, let me count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
goes in the first
foods.
round.
So you need 1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
4,
3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You need 10 foods.
Yes.
In round 1 to make that happen.
So I need 8 more foods.
So and you're starting with 2, so you need 8 more foods. Yeah, I think it's reasonable to expect the Nightjar
it will be tight.
So you need to gain 6 foods of your own accord.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
I think.
I suppose then,
like
if it doesn't work, the last thing I would do then is instead of doing the Yellowhammer to play the Multoney's Warbler into playing the black Redstart, you just do the Yellowhammer into playing the black Redstart, and then you do your gun. Then you do it your next time round. I think if it depends. If you've picked up the Silver Eye, you've given me a nectar.
Well, do
you see my point? So there's always you never know, and with Wingspan, you never know.
You've got to buy a ticket.
And the reason I think it works in this game to play 2 of them on the same board is because there's really good egg laying in this, and there's reasonable food giving in this. So you're actually going to have quite a lot of resources spare in this game.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because of your opening hand. So eggs will be fine. The combination
of the Redstart and the fact you need to lay eggs.
So as long as you can get up to enough foods, I think you'll be fine.
I think it's interesting. Keeping Multoney's Warbler and the Yellowhammer is a proper challenge. And I think
it's pretty metal though, isn't it?
If you pull it off, it's metal. But then I also worry sometimes you'd end up pulling it off just to make it happen, and you end up playing birds that you're like, this is no benefit.
You win this game by playing birds.
Yeah, well, playing good
proven.
Birds,
good birds. Agreed. When I have these games where I've got 2 of them, even if I've got 1 of them out, my threshold for playing a bird is much. I'm accepting. I will play birds that I wouldn't normally play. Just because I want to get the bird out.
Yeah. As an aside, actually, just as an interesting point, there is a restaurant which is very nicely reviewed and renowned. Yeah, off topic. But there's a restaurant which I've never been, but I've heard very good things of, which is not far from where we live, called Yellowhammer.
Wow.
So, yeah, there you go, and it's named after the bird. So there you go.
That is interesting. Yeah.
It's meant to be very nice. We should go.
Yeah, we should. Maybe we get some sponsors or something.
Having a look at some of the comments then. So we've had quite a few comments on Spotify, which is really nice. So thank you all for writing in. I think there's quite a few people who are going for... So Jack has gone for a very similar strategy to me. In fact, exactly the same strategy as me.
Really?
Yeah, he has. And
he went for it 3 days before you.
He did, yeah.
So you've gone for the same strat as him, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Jack is an excellent wingspan player. Jack really is an excellent wingspan player.
And then Paul has gone for slightly different. So Nightjar, Yellowhammer and Coucal, so is ignoring the Redstart and is picking up the Woodstalk, so is really leading into the Rodentologist, which I can really see the value in that, to be honest.
And so George has basically gone for exactly what I would do. So I've just copied George. Just really used my point against me.
We've been rumbled.
I'm completely rumbled.
But no, thank you for writing in. It's really cool to see what everyone's kind of different strategies would do and how they differ to us. And I mean, I'm sure you can see for those of you who've tuned into a few episodes now that we often have different strategies in the way we play the opening hands, and a lot of the time, a lot of you guys do as well. So it's really cool. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can always email in. We are fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com, and yeah, we absolutely love hearing from you.
I like George's comment about would be keeping my eye on the Woodstalk in the tray. What are you going to do about that? What do you mean keep your eye on it? If you want it, pick it up.
I don't know. So actually, one final comment. This is live. Diane has messaged in 1 minute ago. Keep all except the Pygmy-Goose. So it's exactly the same as me. Love the Yellowhammer and the Redstart. Oh my god, this is exactly the same as me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if playing, Kev and I would have to sacrifice my first go to pick up Maltonies. No point losing my Yellowhammer advantage if he can do the same.
So I like that. So picking it up just to... I wonder then, Di, would you play it, or is this a pick up to remove?
I think Di would play it.
Yeah, do you think?
Just because Di knows, she's talented. Yeah. She's talented. She's like me. She knows how... She can make them both work, I think.
Okay, you convince yourselves of that.
Sycophants, aren't we?
Right, let's have a quick break, and then we're going to come back and address some of those questions we've been having about who we are.
Yeah. Bye.
I'll see you in a sec.
Okay, so welcome back to Full Tuck, the Wingspan podcast, and I think we wanted to use this section to address some of our questions we've been getting this week. It's been amazing to have you guys write in from all across the world. It still blows our mind that people actually want to listen to us sort of waffle on about rubbish. Not rubbish, waffle on about our rubbish opinions. That's
our rubbish opinions about an incredible game.
But we just noticed we started getting a few sort of same questions. We thought we'd address them now because maybe we haven't introduced ourselves properly, have we? So we are Adam and Aidan, and we get a lot of questions at the moment about where we play the game or how do you play the game. And this is like an aspect that I'd never thought of. So we got into this game during lockdown in England. So that was 2020.
And we were living together at the time with a group of other friends. And in fact, it was one of our other friends. So shout out to Ollie, who discovered the game.
Taught us the rules all wrong.
Yeah, he did.
Made up all the rules, didn't he?
But then we all got, and as I'm sure many of you did as well, lockdown was a time where there's a lot of free time on lots of people's hands, and so it was a perfect opportunity to really get into it.
So we only really play in the flesh, in person, don't we? And so when the app came out, I've never really got the app because I really love the tactile feel of the cards, and also I've always been trying to reduce my screen time. You play a bit on the app, don't you? But you don't play sort of online.
So I played increased. Well, I mean, it's kind of, it is online on the app, but it is exclusively with people I know in the outside world. So a lot of the commenters on our show, and people mentioned already, so people like Paul and Kevin.
And we play with all the expansions, so we don't really play base game. We play with everything that's come out that's officially released. So I know there's lots of fan packs that have been unofficially released. We don't have them in our decks. No. But we obviously will now have the new fan expansions. And we play on the new boards. We play on the Oceania board. We've never really looked back. We've kind of kept up with the game as it's gone on, haven't we? As the game's developed, we've just kept up with that speed. And we might have the odd random thing like the Jacob Brunner end of round goals, which we'll come on to one day. But that's our baseline in terms of what we talk about. So we're a bit less experienced in other things, namely online play. But this is what I kind of wanted to get on because I think this is something that I'm going to turn to in the next coming months. Yeah. So I'm going to sound like a real technological Luddite here, but Discord is something that's always quite scared me because I don't know what it is. Okay, and this week I've joined the Discord Wingspan tournament server. Okay, and it might be the nicest community of people I've ever seen or been part of.
Nice.
So for those who don't know what Discord is, as far as I can tell, it seems to be like effectively another kind of forum type place.
Okay.
Like Reddit is the closest that I could think of for someone who's not very techie, right? And there's this Wingspan tournament server on there. So the equivalent of Reddit would be called Wingspan Tournament subreddit, okay? r/Wingspan Tournaments, for example. And there are frequent tournaments organised via the Monster Couch app, the one that you use. And so, for example, we're in the middle of the Wingspan World Cup. We've just completed the regional qualifying for the Wingspan World Cup. And they play most of their tournaments, looks like exactly how we play, with the only rule that if you're playing on the Oceania board, you can't play the Ravens in the first round.
Oh, that's an interesting rule.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But I think you can use them to get nectar, is my understanding.
Cool.
Yeah, so it kind of balances out very, very nicely. And so, yeah, so if you guys ever see someone floating around there called Prothornitary Warbs, that's me, probably asking what's going on, how do I work this? But yeah, so I think they've just closed sort of sign-ups for a duet tournament. Do you think you'd ever do a duet tournament?
Duet is so again for those who maybe haven't got the Asia expansion, Duet is a format of the game that came out with the expansion, which is specifically a 2-player version of the game, where instead of using the traditional end of round goal board, you use a slightly different, slightly more complex end of round goal board, which you kind of compete for certain tiles, and when you play birds, you place counters or specific counters, which are like yin and yang counters, on the board to gain additional bonuses for playing those birds. So it adds a bit of a different element to the game. Maybe speeds up a 2-player game slightly.
I think it makes it slightly more complex. A board game geek sort of rating, I think it increases the complexity of the game.
I can see that
but it does give you more freebies, because when you place the token on that, you get freebies quite often.
Yeah, and then the end of round goals are more to do with your placement of those tokens on that end of round board, which is quite a cool. It's quite good, because I suppose almost like we talked about earlier, Wingspan is a very individual game. You have your own board and you play your own game, and I suppose it's quite a nice way of shifting towards a board where you've got a shared board, and
so you can
tokens.
occupy spaces instead of other people. It's like a worker placement in that aspect,
which is not something Wingspan's ever really done before. So sorry, I've gone off track, but in answer to your question, would I enter a tournament? I've never considered entering an online tournament. I think I'm probably scared in the same way that
really?
It's quite intimidating, isn't it, whenever you enter a new kind of community like that, and but yeah, it's certainly something I'd be interested in the future, without a doubt, because
perhaps not duet though.
Maybe not duet.
We're not big duet players, are we?
I mean, maybe we should be, but we certainly gave it a go when it came out with Asia. And I think we found that we just prefer the original end of round goal board.
Yeah. And I think I should play the original 2-player game.
Just because I wonder whether that
a little bit more scarce resources.
Yeah, and the duet board seems to, I think, distract from.
Yes.
You end up doing things because of the duet end of round board, rather than for what you're actually aiming to do in the game. But again, maybe that just adds complexity and makes it more.
So perhaps the next time that they advertise a competition, we should both enter it.
Yeah, we should.
How about that?
That's a good shout.
Because the games are sort of that you do like best of 3.
Yeah.
But I think my understanding is most of the ones I've read so far, you play the games live. So both people need to be on at the same time. Right. Okay. You pre-agree a time to play the game, and you do the game in 40 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever. But there's so many different breakdowns of games. They do 2x2 games. Yeah. They do team matches. They do all sorts of things.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. There's memes on this thing.
It's a really cool community, and if if you're involved in that community, then good for you, because it does seem like a really cool thing, and a whole world and element of Wingspan that is something that's new for us and we're discovering. So,
which I'm now going to throw myself headfirst in, I think.
Nice,
buy a gaming console to play this and do it. Yeah, so I think what we should do maybe is, if people have questions, maybe we should collate them into a Q&A episode sometime. Yeah. If there's anything that you want to know from us, if you've got questions about our style of Wingspan, for example,
or maybe even a specific question about the game of, I had this decision, what would you do, or whatever, whatever it might be. Send us in, any platform will do. You can email us at fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com. You can message on any of your listening platforms, and they will find their way to us, and we'll do that Q&A. It'd be quite a cool thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Fine. Shall we get on with this next week's opening hand?
Let's do it. Okay? Yeah. We'll crack on with it.
Remember, it's Prothornitary Warbs if you see me on the Discord.
Advertising his own Discord now. He's gone mad for it. Right, come on. Opening hand review next time. Let's go.
Okay. See you in a minute, guys. Okay, enough talk about Discord servers. Lovely community that they are. Very welcoming that they have been to me so far. But we need to get on with our opening hand for episode 10. Yeah?
Yeah, 10. I know. Wow. Double figs.
What have we got, mate?
We've got... So the hand we've been dealt, we've got the barn owl, which can live anywhere. Eats 2 rats, 5 bird points, cavity nest, 4 egg capacity, predator brown. When activated power, roll all dice not in the bird feeder. If any are rats, gain 1 rat and cash it on this card. The Philippine eagle, which lives in the forest, also eats 2 rats, 6 bird points, stick nest, 1 egg capacity, predator but round end teal power. Roll all 5 dice. You may re-roll any number of dice up to 2 times. If at least 3 rats are showing when you stop, draw 2 bonus cards and keep 1 and then reset the bird feeder. The mourning dove, which can live anywhere, eats a wheat, 0 bird points, stick nest, 5 egg capacity, brown. When activated power, lay an egg on this bird. The little grebe, which lives in the wetlands, eats a witchetty and a fish, 4 bird points, star nest, 5 egg capacity, brown. When activated power, for each bird in this column with an egg on it, draw 1 card, keep 1 card and discard the rest. Then finally the rook, which lives in the grasslands, eats an anything, 1 bird point, stick nest, 3 egg capacity, flocking. When activated power, cash a food from your supply on this bird or tuck a card from your hand behind this bird. If you do either, tuck a card from the deck behind this bird.
And your bonus cards are Passerine Specialist, which is the first bonus card I ever had, actually. Birds with wingspans of 30 centimetres or less, and that's 6 or more birds gets you 6 points. Or the Eulogist is back. The Eulogist, birds that have at least 1 egg laid on them, and 9 birds gets you 6 points.
And then in the tray, we've got the Northern Goshawk, which eats 2 rats, lives in the forest, 5 bird points, stick nest, 2 egg capacity. Predator, when played power, for each rat in this bird's cost, you may pay 1 card from your hand instead. If you do, tuck the paid card behind this bird. Clark's Nutcracker, which lives in the forest, eats a wheat, and an anything. 5 bird points, stick nest, 2 egg capacity, brown. When activated power, gain a wheat from the bird feeder. If available, you may cash it on this card. And then the Northern Bobwhite, which lives in the grasslands, eats 3 wheats, 5 bird points, pebble nest, 6 egg capacity, brown. When activated power, lay an egg on this bird.
Great. And your end of round goals are: round 1 is eggs in Rock's Nest. I think I found out this week that's also called Ground Nest.
Oh, so many names.
I know we keep naming things wrong. Sorry that we do. Round 2, beaks pointing right. Round 3, cavity nest birds with eggs on them. And round 4, sets of eggs in your wetlands, grasslands and trees.
So there we go, a little insight into our into our opening hand review for episode 10.
It's a 4-player game.
4-player game, and we are going to go second.
We're going to go second this week.
So best of luck. Send us in. Let us know what you think. You can get hold of us on any of your streaming platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and of course you can email in at fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, Audible as well. Yeah, okay. And actually any of your podcast streaming platforms as well. We're everywhere. Yeah. Comment and subscribe, please, guys.
Please do. And remember, we're on socials now as well. So Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, no excuse. Right. Have a great week, everyone. And we will see you next time.
See you then.